Jiraiya the Gallant, a name that echoes through the ninja world. More than a ninja, more than a teacher, he's the embodiment of resilience, wisdom, and willpower. Despite his legendary status as a Sannin, most people know very few of his many accomplishments, let alone his story. This is the untold tale of Jiraiya the Gallant. His origins remain shrouded in mystery as we know very little about his clan. In fact, he's never even given a last name. However, we know that he's born in Konoha and graduated the Ninja Academy, just like Naruto, Sasuke, and many others. He was then put in a group along with Tsunade and Orochimaru under the command of Hiruzen Sarutobi, who would become later the third Hokage. During this time under Hiruzen, he would sharpen his skill as a genin, and he would train a lot alongside Orochimaru and Tsunade, two characters who he would grow very close to. The same group dynamic can be observed by the parallel offered by Naruto's Team 7 with Sasuke and Sakura and Kakashi. Already, we see that Jiraiya as a child and a genin is in a very special environment as he's being taught by a future Hokage. So we can already kind of see that he's on the path to grow into a very important character. At some point, he discovers Mount Myoboku, a mysterious place where toads live. It is said that Jiraiya accidentally ended up there when he tried to summon a toad without having established a contract with them. Nonetheless, he trained under Fukusaku, learning many skills, but most importantly, developing Senjutsu, otherwise known as Sage Jutsu. At the time, he didn't know, but this newfound power would later become a very important asset to fight off enemies and defend his village. Here, he also received the prophecy from the great Toad Sage, who claimed that Jiraiya would eventually meet the child of the prophecy, one of his students, who would grow up to destroy or save the world depending on how Jiraiya teaches them. This revelation just adds on to the importance of Jiraiya in this world, technically holding its fate in his very own hands. Once he left Mount Myoboku, it was his turn to become the master and lead and teach his own team of genin, just like how Hiruzen did for him. One of his students just happened to be Minato Namikaze. We all know that Minato is probably one of the best shinobi Konoha has ever produced, who also went on to become the youngest Hokage ever. Of course, Minato is a born prodigy who had immense talent, but still we have to acknowledge the work of his master, as even the brightest flame needs a spark to ignite, and Jiraiya was the one who helped him and shaped him to become so powerful and righteous. It's also known that Jiraiya helped the 4th Hokage create his signature technique, the famous Rasengan, and all of this just adds on to his long list of achievements. Although their original team disbanded, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, as well as Tsunade continued to fight together during the Second Ninja War. During this massive event, we had forces from the Leaf Village who fought against Hanzo the Salamander and the leader of Amigakure, the Rain Village. During this confrontation, everybody from the Leaf was killed, apart from 3 people. You guessed it, Jiraiya, Orochimaru, and Tsunade, which led Hanzo to bestow them the title of the legendary Sannin. If that's not enough to make you adhere to the Jiraiya GOAT agenda, keep watching because by the end of the video, you will acknowledge his greatness. A bit after the encounter, 3 young children approached the newly crowned Sannin asking to be taught ninjutsu. Jiraiya, feeling guilty from his involvement in the war, decided to stay a bit longer and fulfill the children's request. 2 of them, under Jiraiya's teaching, would then become the powerful leaders of the Akatsuki, and one of them even possessed the legendary Rinnegan, a powerful ocular asset once used by the Sage of 6 Paths, the strongest being in the universe. At this point, it's pretty clear that not only does Jiraiya possess tremendous skill, but he also has a kind heart and he's surrounded by infinite talent. Talent that he polishes with his own teachings, just like as if he had a golden touch. However, not always do individuals around him follow his path of righteousness. For example, the one he considered his closest friend, Orochimaru, defected from the Leaf Village for reasons that Jiraiya could not comprehend. Even after years of searching for a way to bring him back, Jiraiya finally concluded that it was not possible. These lengthy investigations often kept him away from the village, which meant that he could not become the 5th Hokage like Hiruzen wanted to. A similar situation happened with Nagato, who was led astray from Jiraiya's moral path. He founded the Akatsuki under the influence of Obito and ended up killing his own master. but we'll get there soon. Years after the Second Shinobi War, during an attack from the Nine Tails on the Leaf Village, Jiraiya's old student and the Hokage at that time, Minato, would sacrifice himself in order to save the village and seal the Nine Tails into his own son, Naruto. As one of his last acts, he sent his master the key to Naruto's seal and also made him his son's godfather. Later on, Jiraiya would end up living up to Minato's expectations as he meets Naruto back in Konoha, where he becomes his teacher. As we could see earlier, any student of Jiraiya's was automatically destined for greatness, and Naruto was not exception to this pattern. Not only does Naruto achieve the title of Hokage, but he also becomes the strongest shinobi in the entire world, and this all comes back to Jiraiya's mentoring. Not only does he teach him the mastery of ninjutsu and chakra, but he also teaches him the Rasengan, Naruto's future signature move. Most importantly though, Jiraiya acts like the father figure that Naruto most needed and lacked during his childhood. He instills his beliefs of righteousness, which is shown later on by Naruto's famous Talk no Jutsu that saved the world so many times. Considering the great Toad Sage's prophecy, you could say that he saved the world by making sure that Naruto would grow up to be a benevolent and kind-hearted ninja rather than an anger-driven, bitter one, Sasuke, which would lead the Nine Tails Jinchuriki to make the right choices when it came to the fate of the world. This is why, when he ultimately falls to the Six Paths of Pains after heroically defeating two of them, Jiraiya declares in his final moments that he can rest easy, as Naruto will carry on his legacy while he slowly sinks down the water, ending the tale of Jiraiya the Gallant. So that'll be it for the untold tale of Jiraiya the Gallant. As you can probably tell, I'm sick right now, and I haven't dropped in a while, but we're back.